Whoa.
Been wearing hijab for 15 years as an NYPD.
Alright. To the ancestors, known and unknown, Ashe. To the gods, known and unknown, Ashe. All the praise, all the glory be to the Most High. What's going on, guys? Got a treat for you today. Got a treat for you today. You know, people are really quick to throw labels on me, really quick to label me as like anti-Semitic or you know what I mean, just a racist, right? It's like, no. Anyone that truly knows me knows that I don't discriminate. You know, I judge equally. I judge accordingly. You know, it has nothing to do with your religion, nothing to do with the color tone of your skin. It has to do with what's inside, the choices that you decide to make. That's how I judge you, right? It has nothing to do with how whatever, labels are funny, right? But and you know, but as a New Englander, and you know, I grew up as a Boston fan, you know, everything Boston, right? Everything Boston, right? And so normally I don't get upset when I watch New York or New Yorkers in general shoot themselves in the foot. It's like, go ahead, you know what I mean? You deserve it, right? But I watch what's going on now, and it's I can't just let that go unchecked. You know, the things that I see happening in New York, oh man, disaster, detrimental. I want to play this little clip for you that came into my newsfeed today. Watch this.
Member of service and
All right, hold on. Let me turn it up. So this was a press conference, NYPD press conference, right?
Been wearing hijab for 15 years as an NYPD member of service, and I'm super proud of this department of where we came. We came from where there was barely any Muslim officers to where we have over 1,200 members of service and over 10 ladies wearing hijab. And I'm looking forward for another 1,000 ladies wearing hijabs in the near future.
Oh, okay. Nothing wrong with that, right? You know, the Muslim population is growing. You know, everyone has the freedom to express themselves. Nothing wrong with there. Great, good for you, right? And what did she say? I'm looking forward to over 1,000 new females wearing them, right? Oh, good, because it's free will, right? They have the free choice to make that choice to wear it, right? It has nothing to do with you follow our laws or you... has nothing to do with that, right? Because you know, we love each other and we care about each other, and these are good things for us, right? Yeah. So proud of it. It's a good thing for us, right? Yeah. Free will, right?
A brand new program for all new recruits at the NYPD Police Academy, where you can go through your Shahada at the same time as your police training.
Whoa. You can go through, Shahira law. So we'll go through that training while we also do our American police training. Okay. Oh yeah, perfect sense. We have a choice. You know, they're offering NYPD a choice to go and do this training as well, alongside with their NYPD. It's a choice. Oh, okay. All right, nothing wrong with that, right?
It's going to be required now.
Oh, it's going to be required. Well, that's interesting. The United States of who? Interesting. A Christian nation, we say, huh? Interesting.
So there will not be any non-Muslim police officers in New York anymore. Let's get around.
No more non-New York police officers that aren't Muslims. Non-Muslim New York police officers. Oh, the round of applause. How could I forget the round of applause? It's the clinking of the chains. Clink, 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 clink. You hear it? Can you hear it? I can hear it. A round of applause. You know, I'm constantly reminded of a scene in Star Wars where it's Princess Leia sitting there listening to them speak, right? It's everyone gathered. It would be like, I don't know, the UN or something, right? And it's like, oh, so this is how, you know, freedom dies. This is how the Republic dies, with the thunderous applaud. Constantly reminded of that. Constantly. As when I hear these people speak. When I hear the people that are leading our country speak. And the thunderous applause. Well, first off, the applause normally is fake. It's added into the videos. It's added in there and then the crowds aren't really there. They're AI generated because the real crowds don't show up to that. And the media, the propaganda whores aren't going to show you that. Of course not. they feed along it until they get checked, until they get caught. Well, see, if you're paying attention to the news, what Trump's suing these people, right? All the news agencies, they're all well known for it. Well known. But a thunderous applaud.
New York City will be a safe place for everybody, except for non-Muslims.
New York will be a safe place for everybody, except for non-Muslims. And you know, the craziest part is the people that vote for this type of shit. The people that voted these people into office, right? You know, Muslims are against gays. You know, Christians, a lot of Christians are against gays, right? Even though it's not in the Bible, right? It's not in there like that. But they're against it, right? They believe in, those are the laws that these people believe in. Those are the laws that they're trying to establish in New York City. You know, forcing women to wear the covers. You know, anyone gay, you think you're what do you think you're supporting? You're not just shooting yourself in the foot. You know, it's ignorance is bliss. You know, it's crazy. I'm watching people begging for the chains to be put on them, and it's like, wow. You don't have enough chains on you already? Wow.
Dawning of a new era where all people are welcome.
Oh.
As long as they allow Allah into their hearts. Okay, well, please feel free to stick around for some light refreshment, followed by a performance by one of the guys from
Followed by a performance from a guy from Magic Dragons. Oh man. Here are these chains. But guess what? We'll put on a show for you. Here's a concert. Here's some music. Enjoy it. And some refreshments. And it's probably poison as well. Here, enjoy it. Where did I see that tactic before? That was recent too. What was that broad's name? The crazy one. The really one that would have been bad for us. She ran for president. Not Hillary. Harris. Camilla. Oh man, she did that shit too. She would go around and try to like buy people's votes. You know what I mean? Let me just put on a show for you. Don't pay attention to what I say because don't fact check me. And only get, you know, it's funny how they put together different pieces of the interviews and pieces together to make it look like she had any idea what she was talking about. No, oh man. But it's funny how they, you know what I mean, they try to get you to wash down those horrible ideas with here's just some free stuff, right? Like Obama, here's some free stuff. We're taking away your rights and freedoms, but here's a free cell phone. Here, just take this. Just take it. You're gonna like it here. You're gonna like these chains. They're custom fit just for you. You can decorate them all you want. You just can't remove them. Anti-Semitic. I know. I judge accordingly. But let's go on to some of my favorite people. All right? Let's look at this. Well, so Chuck Schumer. We know who Chuck Schumer is since we're talking about New York City. Schumer has been leading the Democratic Party in New York City for a long time now, right? But what master does he serve? You know, does he serve, you know, the United States of America? Does he serve the American people who voted him, who continue to vote him into that position? Silly, but okay. But let's watch what this man has to say.
In a Jewish state, and that is why we in America must stand strong with Israel through thick and thin. We must, because that is the reason, not any of these other false shibboleths, why there is not peace in the Middle East. Too many people don't understand.
Why there isn't peace in the Middle East. How many times have agreements tried to be made, attempted to be made, but it was the special group of people that he's speaking with AIPAC, that they're speaking with. Why is it that group of people that shut down every talk unless they got their way? Did we not grow up with siblings that don't we know how that works? You're making demands that are outrageous, absurd, but sticking to it. Childish behavior. Narcissistic behavior.
And that here in America.
There's a lot hidden behind the headlines to get the missing context.
You know, it's beyond me how they could even try to play it off and try to tell us that you're un-American if we what? If we state facts? Oh no, heavens forbid facts, real facts, heavens forbid the truth be spoken. Because what happens when the truth is spoken? Oh, that's right, it shines a light on the deceit. It shines a light on the abominations that have been happening. With our money. I think we deserve to know where our money goes. What our money is doing. But they don't give us that information. Because they know if we found out, we would be rightfully pissed the fuck off. But yeah, but our best friends, Israel, our best friends, Mossad, CIA, intelligence gathering, right? And just intelligence, right? Nothing, no blackmail to see there. No, nothing. They're both part of the governments, and everyone knows every government has nothing but their people's best interests in mind, and they would play by the rules and everywhere they go. They would never break any laws ever, and they're very honest people because they work for the government, and they work for God, right? Yeah. So this is an interesting 60 Minutes interview I found. This is from a Mossad agent, right? Listen to this.
Chen's World. We are a global production company. We write the screenplay. We're the directors. We're the producers. We're the main actors. The world is our stage.
This is Mossad's old...
The world is our stage. We set it all up. We set all the pieces up. We set all these senators and congressmen up in other people's governments to do our bidding for us. We set it all up. The world is our play. This is their mentality. Not just their mentality. They do these shit. They do it. But you think the CIA do you think their hands are clean? No. Production agencies, what do you think Hollywood is? The CIA, MK Ultra, it's involved into all of that. Indoctrination, programming, our subconscious, programming us into what's already going to happen. They spin it off as sci-fi, as fiction, what they're already planning on doing. They show us technology they already have, weapons they're already using on us, but they spin it off as sci-fi, as fictional. Are we awake yet? Do we understand how this works yet? Are we getting it? Are we still subscribing to this and thinking that it's all true?
office. Its motto from Proverbs 24:6 says in so many words, wage war through deception and trickery.
You know, the only real things are the victims. The only real things, you know, the lives, the innocent lives that are lost. You know, the rights and freedoms that are stripped away from us through these false, well, not, some of them are false flags attacks, some of them are intentional, but it's the one, they can't fake the deaths. And, you know, sometimes they do with like some of the I can't even say certain words, but it's their play. You know, a lot of, and you start studying like numerology. And, you know, people's names and adding up the letters and then the certain dates and this and that. There's rituals still go on to this day right in front of our eyes and we're not even aware of it. And a lot of it is, some of it is our sacrifices. Other times it's just to harvest our energy. And, well, it's all a harvest of our energy. You know, but something else, in this next video I'm gonna play, I was really interested to see. So it was an interview that takes place, and it was I believe it's an Israeli broadcaster. Well, first off, let's not put everyone in the same group. You know, there's there's the Zionists, which just want destruction and domination, right? And then there's the Jews that don't, you know, they're not fighting for a land that's not even theirs. They understand it's not their land to fight for, right? And but it's also, they know it, but it's, you know, we don't need a certain place. God is everywhere we go. God is inside of us. You know, we don't need it. We just need the right and some freedoms to connect with the Most High. We don't need a place. You know, that's a misconception. We don't need a place. Our temple is our place, and that goes everywhere that we go. We can always connect with the Most High. It doesn't matter where we are. Not to be tied up with the Zionists that have been kicked out of every country. And for good cause, for good reason. But look what they're doing now to us. It's the same playbook. It's the same playbook. But we're going to dive a little deeper. So this was an interview that happened with an Israeli, I think it was an Israeli broadcaster, right? But then, you know, it's actually real stuff, real information, and it's all truth. And it's like, well, no shit. No wonder, you know what I mean? It wouldn't be on Fox or ABC because it's all propaganda. Of course, you're not going to find the truth there. That's why they attack sites like this, or apps like this. That's why they attack the internet in general, because the internet is how the truth is being spread. Even as censored as it may be, I'm not free to speak, but I'm freer than some people. And I choose to use it as much as I can. I push the fucking lines. Because of course, I'm gonna get as much truth as I can. And I catch bans and strikes and warnings for speaking the truth. I get fact checked by the fucking propaganda whores. I get fact checked. Funny. Real funny. Yeah, I'm not laughing though. Alright, let's get into this though.
So I started to research a lot Jewish roots and Jewishness, and I wanted to know what it is that Judaism is about. What does Judaism believe? So I started to study their writings, and their writings include Talmud, Zohar, Kabbalah, Shulchan Aruch, which is their Jewish law, or it's called Halakha. And I started to expound on, listen to a lot of teachings by rabbi. I would open up a lot of videos that Chabad rabbi would specifically teach on Halakha and on Talmud and explain certain things. And I started to see that there is a huge discrepancy between Christianity and Judaism, that Christianity has absolutely nothing to do with Judaism. Judeo-Christianity, as often as referred to, is oxymoron statement. It's diametrically opposed. And I started to see that basically they actually are the enemies of Christianity. So I could not logically understand.
Judaism is not biblical, even by Old Testament standards.
That's correct.
God did not create Judaism.
Exactly. Judaism, as we know it today, is basically Pharisaism. Judaism is not true faith. It's not nothing that God has given.
It's what Jesus condemned.
Exactly.
Right.
So I started to notice that.
You know, they touched on a really interesting point. It's what Yeshua condemned. You know, it's the same people that you know, that perverted his teachings. It's the same people that are still perverting his teachings to today, but yet claiming it as the truth. And using it as a foundation for bloodshed. Using it.
We have the same battles today as first century Christians, as apostles. And that our enemies are the same enemies as enemies of Jesus. And it was the Pharisees with their oral law. You see a lot of Christians today, especially in Zionist circles, they think that Judaism is about Old Testament. That Judaism is just the Old Testament. All they believe, the Jews, they just believe the Moses law, and they practice the law of Moses. They have 613 commandments. Most of these Christians are not familiar with the Talmud, Zohar, and Kabbalah, and where this 613 mitzvot comes from and what they're all about. So I started to study what they're about and what the Talmud teaches, and I noticed that there is actually a plan, there is a plot, and that's a plot against Christianity. And let me bring you one of the books here, The Secret Doctrine in Israel by Waite, W-A-I-T-E. And what it explains is the basically secret doctrine of the Zohar, what is behind Zohar. And you have to understand that the soul of the Talmud is Zohar, and the soul of Zohar is Kabbalah, the occultism or sorcery, as I refer to it. Now, this particular book, it doesn't speak against it. It only explains what it is, what the secret doctrine is. And here in the preface, it actually speaks of the secret tradition in Israel, together with some account of the manner in which it influenced Christian scholarship in Europe during 16th, 17th, and 18th centuries. It seems like this is a plot that is not new. This has been pre-planned long
They've been
time ago.
infiltrating Christian churches and universities and organizations.
You know, perspective, yes. But one thing that should not be mistaken is that in every religion, which each religion is someone's personal interpretation of the spiritual journey, right? So in every religion, you have the same thing. In Judaism, it's the Kabbalism, right? But it's all magic. But as they also teach in the Talmud, right? They speak of, my understanding is that they speak of Yeshua as if he was like a sorcerer or a wizard, right? That's how they speak of him, right? But the Kabbalah, right? I read it. Right, it was not because I sought it out. It's, you know, it found its way to me. But interesting enough, in the book, it speaks about how, you know, the student doesn't find the teacher doesn't find the student finds the teacher when they're ready, right? And it found its way to me. And when I read that book, it unlocked things into me. It was not the first time that I read that book. It was not the first time, right? And there's power in words and reciting them. There's power in that. And I know these things. I know it to be true. I don't believe it to be true. I know it to be true. Huge difference. I speak on knowing. I know that part to be true. I know there's power in that book. I know there's truth in that book. Right? I know that to be true. But every religion has its own certain variations of it. Okay?
For centuries.
Exactly.
To change the gospel.
To change the gospel and completely put a virus in Christianity. I call that a virus, leaven of the Pharisees. And today's Christianity, especially here in America, has a virus. And we have to identify what the virus is. But it's basically the same problem as Apostle Paul has. It's a Judaizing of Christianity, but they also brought in occultic practices. But anyway, as far as I was studying this, I came to a really shocking information. And here on this page, I highlighted it. It says here, according to the Midrash Talpigoth, the Messiah will bring eternal peace, which of course was understood by the Israelites as peace for Israel, plus that which may follow extermination for all who did not enter by conversion into the house of Jacob. So
Extermination?
Yes. So basically what they teach is that if Gentiles or Christians do not attach themselves to the Jews, they will be exterminated. And of course, we are well known for...
Now again, that's the teachings of the Zionist teachings, not all Jews. Don't confuse the difference. Don't get them confused. But pay attention. And it's hard not to hurdle everyone up into the same category. But not everyone has evil intentions. Not everyone is out there believing that believing that the one true Creator of all would not just think it acceptable to do some of these things, but command it of you. That's not a living God that condones that type of behavior. That's not a living God.
Noahide laws that we brought this to a light. So then you go to Talmud and you start reading what is the plan for Gentiles. You see, Judaism is a two-tier system. Judaism puts the wall of partition back. It's the Jews and non-Jews. And according to Judaism, non-Jews are different species. They're not, they're humans, but they're not at the level of the Jews. Jews are supposedly divine. They're light of the world. They're the chosen. They have life of Hashem inside of them. That's the way they explain life of God inside. And the Gentiles, they can never achieve it. They're different species. They're on animalistic level. And the only way for...
anyone telling you that any race or any type of people is not capable of connecting with the Most High, anyone that's preaching that's a false teacher. That's a false prophet. Anyone that's connected with the one true source of all, the one true creator of all, that's connected with the Most High, knows that we're all capable of it. And anyone teaching otherwise is a false teacher.
Gentiles to make it to the world to come is to attach themselves to the Jews. And how do they do that? Well, through the Noahide laws, 7 Noahide laws.
I think it was the Secret Doctrine in Israel. Is that the book that you said that there was a 200-year-old prophecy in that book? Or is it another book?
This is really interesting too. When they start getting into this part right here, they start getting into some numerology and prophecies and stuff. But you think, who was it? Soros or one of the really rich people that said that, was asked about astrology and asked if, and it's like millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do. Many people can manipulate the system, the game of life, and become a millionaire. But to become a billionaire, my belief is that you're somehow tapped into something. You're tapped into something, whether it be the light or the dark. You're tapped into something. You have to.
It is a different book. There is a Jewish author, Rabbi Joel Bakst, and he's and he's author of a 2-volume book. It's called Josephic Messiah, Sacred Serpent, and I think it has like 3 names. But there was, they are sourcing it from 200-year-old book called Kol Hator, The Voice of the Turtle Dove. And in that particular book, the Rabbi Gaon de Vilna have discovered the code or expressed, or he was able to get the revelation, as they say, of the mystery of Kabbalah. And they have predicted in that book, they said that at the end times, at the Messianic times, the figure like Cyrus shall appear again. So all of these Cyrus prophecies.
That was like over 200 years ago?
Yes, it was all over 200 years ago.
There would be a Cyrus figure appear.
Right.
And what would the Cyrus do?
Well, in a Jewish mind, they have not only one Messiah, like we know Christians, we have Jesus Christ as one and the only Messiah. They have 2 Messiahs. One is a Messiah ben Joseph, and one is Messiah ben David.
They have 2?
They have 2 Messiahs.
One's not good enough?
Well, this is the way they explain it. The Messiah ben Joseph can be anybody, whether Jew or a Gentile. It can be an Edomite, according to them, a Gentile. But that Gentile has to do good for Israel and move Israel towards its final redemption, tikkun olam.
Okay, so several weeks ago when before the impeachment trial and the Lev Parnas recording came out, that was recorded on his partner's phone. Donald Trump was there and they were telling him, your name is in Gematria. Yes. You're like the Messiah.
Right, correct.
So he's the Gentile Messiah?
Yes, according to Jewish doctrine, Messiah ben Joseph can be either a Jew or a Gentile who helps Israel in their redemption process, who is doing anything, all the good things for Israel, so Israel can come to a place where they rule the world.
Well, you have two different points in that. You have the...
it's... I'm sorry, but I can't... I'm seeing Pinky in the brain. How are we going to dominate the world today, Pinky? You know what I mean? It's... but it's interesting how how a religion can have such a public face, how people perceive them to believe and what they believe them to follow, but then have a whole nother set of teachings that they speak behind closed doors. Well, anyway, any religion, anything that you have to speak about behind closed doors, why are you speaking out behind closed doors? Because it's a secret? Well, any big red flags, do we not see these red flags? Do we not notice them? Do we not perceive them as what they are? A red flag? If you're anything in the dark, I am the same person behind closed doors as I am in the open. I might not be proud of all the choices and decisions I make, but yeah, they're right there. I'm accountable to them. I'm acceptable to them. I acknowledge them. You know what I mean? I don't do things in the shadows. I don't try to keep things in the shadows. I have nothing to hide. The truth has nothing to hide. Honesty has nothing to hide. Deceit has something to hide. Lies have something to hide.
Seth and Mashiach ben David. And one brings about Israel through redemption, but the other brings it about through war. And some are believing that that Trump could be possibly the David Messiah, and that Netanyahu could be the Yosef, which brings about the war. Or vice versa.
Oh, fuck.
Which one is which, but
well, that's interesting what he brought up right there. You know, he said it could be perceived as, you know, as Netanyahu is the one that brings up the war. But that's all he does. You know, any attempt at peace that's brought to the table, he shuts it down. Because he's not interested in peace. He has no interest in peace. And what does that tell you about what does that tell you about who he is as a person? To not even seeking peace, to just violence, and trying to justify the violence. But the interesting part about that is, too, you look at how the Palestinians are treating the hostages. Then you look at how the Israelis are. You know, but then the narrative they try to spin. The narratives, the false narratives.
well, it may make it difficult for Trump to be the war messiah, because the day the U.S. Senate voted to limit his powers to start a war with Iran. I'm surprised that passed the Senate today. So you know what they're going to have to do now. They need a Gulf of Tonkin incident. They need a USS Liberty incident. They got to do something to get around that Senate vote.
Yeah, a USS Liberty incident. You know what he's talking about? He's talking about when Israel made attacks intentionally on the USS Liberty, or whatever the name of the ship was right there that he said. That was back in, the 70s? When our best friends, our greatest allies, loved us so much and cared about us so much, they sent attacks from the water, attacks from the air, and then they shot attacks from the land, I believe, as well. Because they care about us so much.
Well, they consider him Ben Yosef Messiah for one reason. He has moved embassy to Jerusalem. Of course, there is a plan that all nations will move their embassies to Jerusalem. And then also he gave them Golan, and he's supporting their occupation of the land over there. So
are the Kabbalah wizards pumping this stuff into Donald Trump's head? Are they just making it up and telling him, hey, we have prophecies about Cyrus and the Messiah, and it's you. We've come to this conclusion. It's you. Are they just making this stuff up?
You know, I don't see the heart. I don't know if he's willingly part of that, or if they are really putting this into his head. So I don't know what the truth is.
We know that they're saying it to him. We got recordings of them saying, you're the Messiah.
Right.
You're in Gematria.
Now, in Judaism, Ben Yosef can be several people. Every generation had Messiah Ben Yosef according to Jews. So when they speak of Messiah, you have to be really careful to understand what they mean. Because, of course, then they had the Messiah, the final Messiah, the Ben David Messiah, and that one will
There's three?
That one will be a sacred serpent.
He'll be a what?
Sacred serpent.
A sacred serpent?
Yes. Uroboros.
A snake?
A snake.
Yes. They're expecting a snake Messiah?
Well, Rabbi Laitman, who is a prominent Jewish philosopher, he's one, of course, is taught by the Rabbi Golan that Yana was talking about already. But Rabbi Laitman really promotes the idea very openly that in the Garden of Eden was actually the helper of mankind. And that, and of course, he writes about the sacred serpent, or the holy serpent is even called, which they believe will be the last Messiah that brings about redemption. And so, I mean, I always think about how Jesus says in Matthew, you know, that, you know, you're of your father, the devil.
You know, it's... You know, it's interesting to think about. You know what I mean? I know just from all the conspiracy, you know, I've been studying conspiracies. Well, I've been aware of the truth. So conspiracy theories, right? You know, for a couple decades. I've studied it in my free time. That's how I spent my time, right? And, you know, numerology comes up a lot. And a lot of the big events all tie into it, you know. And a lot of things are based upon it. You know, a lot of people, you know, even down to, you know, your business name, you know, like Latin-based words, numbers adding up to certain things, you know, certain days to start your business on. There's a lot of different things and beliefs that, you know, I study it and research it, but I don't abide by and follow and dictate my life according to them. But I'm aware, I'm intrigued by it, and I study these things, right? To some extent. But it's you can't ignore the symbology that's everywhere. You know, but it's, you know, the Messiah, you know, but it's, no one's coming to save us. No one's coming to save us. I know that to be true. I don't believe it to be true. I know that to be true. You know, it's our job to save ourselves, like Yeshua told us. You know, it's our job. No one else's. It's our job. And so, you know, waiting around for someone to save us, that's not going to happen. How many incarnations has your soul already been waiting for that? Just waiting. Are you still doing it this one too? Well, it's all choices. It's all free will. You know, but you know, we have a choice not to subscribe to the falseness. We have a choice to seek out the truth. We have a choice. You know, we have choices. You know, but it's this was an interesting perspective. This was an interesting video to find, and you know, like I only know what my journey led me through, and you know what I mean, what I did personally. And so any advice I give is from how I perceive things, and from what I did. Right, that's the angle that I look at it as, and you know, it's I can only take what other people say with a grain of salt, because you know, I know what I did, and I might not know how I did it or explanation of to what, the who's, but I know internally, energetically, when things are right and when they're not. I know it, I feel it, and you know, but it's trying to explain to others. How do I explain what I don't even understand sometimes, right? And so that's why I listen to what other people have to say. And, you know, some stuff I find useful. And, you know, but question everything. We should be questioning everything. We shouldn't just be taking everything as truth. You know, it's our job to be our own journalists, right? It's our job to do our own research. It's our job to form our own opinion. You know, we take other people's opinions in consideration, but we also have to take in consideration who are the people that are forming this opinion. What are their morals? Who are they as a person? Should I even be, you know, taking their word for word? Or are they known to be a liar? Are they known to be a deceiver? Are they known to be whatever it is? You know, question who we're getting our information from. Question who we're forming our opinions off of. But yeah, that was part of my studies this rising. I found it interesting. But all right, well, I got some shit to do. I'll probably hop on later for a read or something. But yeah, thanks for tapping in. Thanks for all your likes, shares, comments. Thanks for the exchange of energy. And until next time.